she made it all of probably about 10 miles and the car completely died. It had 0 electrical power. Today, it's a beautiful, cold Friday afternoon, right before Easter. So I have my contractors back out just as follow up on the work they've been doing out here to try to fill in the old pool. And it is still too wet for them to be able to do anything. So they came out today and picked up pretty much all their equipment. The skid steer they were using, I have a feeling they blew it out trying to pull the the excavator out of the hole. And I think they screwed up the excavator getting it stuck in the hole. So all of that equipment went out for repair, and they told me they were renting a skid steer to be able to come out and finish all the grading work. The guys were super nice that came out today and talked with me. And, you know, they apologized. They said, you know, I really hate to leave your lawn looking like this, you know, for Easter. But we're afraid if we get out here and try to do any additional work, they're going to make it worse, not better. And I completely understand, because it is very wet, and them hauling these trucks in here, they were already sinking a few days ago before it rained so bad, and now it's just not draining because whatever this aggregate is truly made out of just holds water. So there's still a lot of puddles there that the water just hasn't dried up, and as you kind of break through that, it's just very, very muddy and soft underneath. So it's okay. Everything's happening for a reason, and I am perfectly fine with whatever reason that is. It actually is going to give me some time today to get out and take down the remainder of the fence line that I haven't pulled yet. So I still have the gate, and I have 2 more posts outside the gate. So 4 posts total left. I got the corner post out in the last video. So I got to take these other ones out, which means disassembling the gate. So I do need to grab some tools so I can get that off. And then I'll pull those out, knock all the concrete off, fill the holes, and then they're going to, when they get their skid steer out, they're going to basically take some of that ground, and as part of their excavation, they're going to push that in so that my grade slopes away from the house a little bit. I'm going to put the camera down, I think, and get to work on those poles and start busting the concrete off. And you've seen what that looks like, so I probably won't record most of it. But yeah, I'm gonna get to it, and I'll check back with you guys in a few. It is now Saturday morning, and actually it is Saturday afternoon going on about 2 o'clock, I think. We had an unusual day this morning, so again, if you can't do what you have planned, change your plans. And that is exactly what I had to do today. We have 3 vehicles now in non-running condition. Noel went out on a mission to go get her vaccine shot this morning, and she made it all of probably about 10 miles and the car completely died. It had 0 electrical power. So I am going to guess maybe a bad alternator. Could have had a melt through on the battery cable. I don't know. I got to get into that and take a look. I will probably do that on Sunday when it's just a hair bit warmer out. Today it's breezy and going on 60, but not quite. So I'm actually charging up the Impala right now. Its battery was so dead, one of my chargers wouldn't even register. It was connected to a battery. So, you know, this happens when you don't need to drive them, right? They just, they sit and wither a little bit. So I'm working on that. And I think to get me started today, I'm gonna go back to working on the backyard. Now it's a little windy today, so I don't know how much I'll get recorded for you guys. The camera has a tendency on this tripod to fall over when it blows, especially if I have the side viewer, which you probably see me looking at quite a bit. But if I have the side viewer swung out, it's a little bit more like a kite. But over here in the background, right over there, are 5 poles that I still need to knock all the concrete off the bottom. And then I'm just gonna throw the concrete down into the swimming pool pit. They will be out on Monday to finish all the grading and yard work. So that'll be good. And we started fixing around the flagpole. So I went up to the bedroom window and I was looking out, and I couldn't determine because I measured just kind of with the, I measured using the level just to kind of to distance it out from the center of the pole all the way around. And I thought I had it perfectly, you know, circular, which it did look circular, but it looked like the pole wasn't in the center of my circle anymore. And I kind of scratched my head, thought it was an optical illusion. So last night when we were out here working, I had Kate grab the measuring tape and check it for me, and sure enough, on this side it's about 23 inches, and on that side it's about 25 inches, and that was just enough. You could tell it wasn't in the center. So we started the process of moving some of those blocks over an inch, shifting the whole thing 1 inch to the left. I let Kate do it, and God love her, she tried, but leveling bricks was definitely not in her list of things that she felt that she wanted to do, because every time she would try to get one level, she'd knock another one out. And it'll take practice, but we'll see. We'll see if she wants to get back at it and do it again. If not, I'll get in there and do it. Not a big deal. It's just aesthetic, nothing else. So, all right. Aside from that, I've got this pile of patio pavers back there I need to get rid of. I need to get rid of the bird stand now, which has worked as an excellent tripod for this camera. So it has definitely come in handy. I may actually use it a little bit before I take it to the back 7 and dispose of it. And I've got the containers with the old maple trees that the dog decided to chew up over the winter, and some of the sod that I took out from where we planted trees back there. I need to get that stuff taken care of. So those are kind of on my list of things to do today. I may not get all of the concrete busted, but I'll do my best. It just takes a while to get through it. And some of those concrete pillars, good Lord, they had 27, 28 inches of concrete on the bottom. And literally one of them, a third of the pole was in concrete underground level. So it was a challenge to get that one out. That was I think the first one I did. It took me almost an hour just to get that one pole out, so I didn't record the whole thing. You saw me doing some of the others. But then the garage, I started getting that cleaned out, and I filmed cleaning it out, and we made some good headway. And then we went completely downhill. So back to that. So I'll do a little bit probably in the backyard. I'll do some in the garage to try to empty it out and get it cleaned up. And that will probably use up all of my day today. Hopefully, nothing on the Impala other than get it to actually start and run it a little bit. And I gotta get Jake started too. He hasn't had reason to drive it, so his has just been sitting back there. So today is getting those charged. Today, tomorrow, get them charged, get them started. And tomorrow, making sure they run and are in good shape. It is Monday morning, and as promised, the construction crew is back out here again today to work on the swimming pool, so I'm going to catch a little bit of footage of them doing their thing for you. This should be the last day, and by the end of the day, I should have a back lawn that can go ahead and be, I guess, smoothed out a little bit better, seeded and strawed. We'll take a look at it at the end of the day, but I'll show you guys that footage when they're finished. And for now, I thought I would just kind of stick this out the window because I have a really good vantage point from up here and let you watch a little bit of what they're doing. And this may be really windy and hard to hear me, and if it is, I apologize, but I forgot the big fluffy mic. So, at any rate, we're working on these, and I got Jake's running, it was great. I've got the Impala running, it's great. Her car is the only car I need to get running. I think it's alternator to test it. I charged the battery all night last night, and it is, according to this, 100% charged. So the next step is I'm going to, well, the first step was, could I physically charge the battery? And that answer was yes. So if it had had a direct short somewhere in the system, I would have anticipated that it would not charge the battery at all. So that makes me think even more it's the alternator that didn't charge the battery. So the next step is I'm going to try to actually start the car and see if it runs. And if it does, then I will go ahead and use that same tester, that Stanley tester I've got, to do an alternator check and see if it gives me any kind of error reading. So that's what I'm doing next. To make that happen though, we have stopped charging. Yeah, I'm gonna grab car keys, start this car, and I'll let you know what happens. All right, it started. It has a really high pitch whine. I hit the alternator check button. And at least the system says the alternator is good. So I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, I am seeing that the battery is slowly discharging. So it could be that it's just not charging it fast enough. I've gone from about 14.1 volts down to 13 in the last couple minutes that it's been running. So I'm just gonna let it run for a little bit longer and see what happens. If I can't figure it out, then I have a mechanic I can call and he can come get it and tow it over to his place, and I'm sure he can figure it out. So I guess that's about all I can do but wait for now. I tried the alternator test a couple more times after it dropped down to below 13 volts, and this time it's reported a failure on the alternator. So I think that could be my culprit. I'll show you what I'm seeing. But just for kicks and grins, I'm gonna run that test again and see what I get. And it failed. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and charge this beast up a little bit longer and let it get to full charge again, and then I'm probably gonna have to rip this alternator out and take it down to Advanced Auto. They've got a new unit for around 150, I think, and they need the core, so I'll probably just take the core in with me. They can test the alternator while I'm there, so I'm gonna make it a one-stop shop, I hope. Fortunately, even though we're kind of rural out here, it's only about a 15-minute drive to the nearest auto parts store. Since I can't really do too much more on the Highlander tonight, and it is, it's going on 7, I think what I'm gonna do is come out here to the front yard and start to hand rake some of this down to see how it does. I did notice some rocks and other clumps in it, so I'm gonna try to make sure I get the rocks out. So I'm gonna work on that tonight, and I think that will probably take me most of the night. Well, that actually went pretty well. I did get a lot of debris and rock, pebble, just a lot of that stuff that you would expect to have in the soil. Kind of raked off the surface and at least to the outside edges. I actually took this all the way out. Let me see if I can get it in there. So I actually went from edge to edge. That was the full width right there out to the fence line, with the exception of this little bit up here toward the house. And I have to say, you know, there were a couple of high spots here or there, but for the most part, I think this is pretty daggone good. I think they did a really good job, and I'm very pleased with the work that they did. Like I said, I still have the far out piece to do yet. I don't think I'm gonna get to that tonight. The sun's almost down. Chickens should be putting themselves away here very soon. So I don't know what time it is, but I'd say it's probably going on 8:15, somewhere around in there. So tomorrow will be another day. I will continue to work on this. I don't know that I will film raking out the rest of it for you because, you know, there's only so much of that I think a person can watch. You get the general idea. And in the end, you know, I'm hoping this is really good. So I want to start tomorrow, I think, at some point, putting up some pins in the ground to mark where the swing set is going. I do have those plans started, and I think they'll work out well. Noel approves of the plans, the kids approve of the plans, so I think that's good. I will show you those coming up in probably another video. For tonight, though, I think this is going to have to wrap up the video. I think my rooster's saying it's about time to go to bed, too. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. I hope you enjoyed what you saw, and I will catch you on the next video.